Hello, and thank you for being with me again. Today I'm going to be talking mainly about the 21st chapter of Luke's Gospel, when Jesus is talking to his followers about what's to come for them and foretelling the trials and difficulties that they'll go through in their lives as spiritual people. And one of the questions, obviously, that one might ask is, why would there be these trials? Why would there be these difficulties for people who are trying to live a spiritual life? And there's a very simple reason. You see, being a spiritual person frees you from domination by anybody else. A truly spiritual person puts this way of love first in their lives, irrespective of anything else that people may want to foist upon you. And this means that those who wish to dominate you will react badly because they realize that you will not be dominated because you've seen something further in life. Also, those who are dominated will maybe be negative towards you because inside they feel that you have something that they may wish to have, but perhaps are not strong enough at their stage of life to go forward with, irrespective of the reactions of others to this state of life. So what I want to encourage you about in terms of this domination is to be careful of accepting any one person's, including my direction, but to look at a number of sources. We need to look not only at current sources or sources from our particular line of sight of the spiritual life, but we also need to look at sources from other times and other approaches to this life. And why I say we need to do this is that obviously all of us have our thoughts influenced by what we hear around us, the world that we live in at this time, and so on. And so looking at people from other times and places can give us a different perspective, can show us a view that perhaps we wouldn't arrive at in this time and place of ours, which can help us to be more well-rounded in our spirituality and so be more truly spiritual people. You see, with exactly what happens when we feel we want to go ahead with this is we come up with the questions very often that the disciples came up with, and this is the wonder of the scriptures, to have these questions put to Jesus and to hear his responses. And for example, when he talks about the trials and difficulties that will come, his disciples immediately want to know where and when, not realizing that those are questions that don't make sense. You see, the where and when of these difficulties, these trials, depends on the growth of each person, because those trials and those difficulties will come when you need them, when you need them for your further growth. And so there isn't one time and one place in which these trials and difficulties will come. They will come for each one of us when and where it suits us best. And so, as I say, as we go about this growth of ours, we need to realize and understand that people may be put out by our growth spiritually, but to keep our eye on developing as loving people. You see, we are not waiting to see the results of our being Christian, being spiritual people in this life. We are living them now. Because as you go through life, you are influencing people for better or for worse, but you are influencing people every day. And so the results of your approach to life are with you now. We also need to try to avoid complicating things, because we can get into huge, seemingly difficult problems that are not real problems if we are able to remain simple. And I say this because if you think about it, when Jesus brought his teaching to the earth, he spoke mainly to pretty simple people who didn't have education as we have today, people who didn't have all of the things, all the knowledge that we apparently have today, and yet they understood him. There's a lovely example of this that I heard about when space travel began. The Americans tried to produce a ballpoint pen that was able to write in space. The Russians used a pencil. And so this is just an example for you of how we can complicate things when there is a simple answer right there. And really, essentially, spirituality is pretty simple. It's day to day applying love in every situation and growing in our understanding of how and why things are as they are. And so I pray that this talk may help you to simplify your approach to your spirituality, to broaden your approach so that you will look at other sources, and to bring you the great happiness and freedom that comes from living as a spiritual person. And may God bless you. Thank you.